Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big roster updates going down last night, especially a little bit of Twitter drama potentially going down here between Marved and Reduxx, a new man on Sentinels. The 6th man, of course, of their roster, Marved, was previously on that organisation a couple of years ago, but it's not necessarily gone so much to plan for him over the last few months. What is the future for Marved? Can he get a spot back in the VCT? Because it certainly seems like for Reduxx, he's going to get a spot in Tier 2, and in due course, as the Sentinel sub, there's likely going to be an opportunity coming around the corner in Tier 1. Very much on Twitter, your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new, as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thought this was kind of entertaining, first of all. I mean, basically, Ye was just talking trash, really. So, anyway, Zeltis tweets this out. I think he copied Ye, didn't he? Ye tweeted it earlier. But, yeah, they both tweeted the same thing. I normally don't speak on politics, but after Donald Trump's recent victory, I feel the need to make a statement. I know this might alienate a lot of you, but I think it's time to break my silence. How is Neon not nerfed, right? So, we see this from Ye, we see this from Tens, we see this from Zelsis, we see this from Zekken, we see this from basically every player under the sun saying, look, Neon is right now a little bit too strong, and many of the agents, the characters, certainly in the game, recognize this. The personalities in the scene certainly recognize this, and therefore we are seeing what's currently happening with the pick rates of Neon going pretty much through the roof. And I think it's not even just the pick rate being high and it being a very viable agent, it's more so just the way that it plays against opposition, right? It's just not, you know, an agent which is conducive to standard tactical shooter type gameplay, and I think that's why it's annoying many players. So let's talk about nerfing Neon in various ways. One slide among other options, or simply add agent bans, which Ye has suggested. But yeah, Ye made this statement, and obviously the first couple of sentences it seemed like Ye was going to say something kind of controversial, and therefore there's a bit of drama about it. So this user Ari in the replies then said the following, like, I remember hearing about this guy getting no hose behind the scenes, and now I understand why. So I was like, okay, why? I don't know why this is necessary, but whatever. So Ye then comes out with his tweet and says, like, look, this is my girlfriend, what are you talking about? And then I guess they deleted it, or they've like deleted their account, or everyone's blocked, I don't know. But yeah, Ye just clouded this fraud, I suppose. And then we obviously had some further responses from Leaf and from other players, but I thought that was a pretty funny exchange, to be honest, to start out the video. Now, there's a few other interesting things happening as well, starting with this one from Global Esports. So it's pretty rare that I log into LinkedIn to make a video on the channel, but here we are again. So Dr. Rashindra, of course, over at Global Esports, gave an interesting update here on LinkedIn about, well, the situation right now with GE. We're thrilled to announce that Global Esports has achieved profitability for financial year 24, backed by $2 million in actual cash revenue. Now, of course, they talk about a few things here. Now, this is always a little bit, I wouldn't say misleading, because it's not like he's saying anything that isn't, well, true, at least in our understanding of it. But, of course, revenue does not equate to profit, right? So the point is that he's not necessarily got 2 million cash in the bank, and they've made $2 million in revenue in cash in the last 12 months, at least up until March 31st, 2024, which is actually very impressive. I mean, Sentinels are a massive organization, they're doing very well, but they are losing money. I mean, basically every organization is losing money with the intention to get profitable in the near term. Now, esports in general is so challenging because there's lots of overheads. You've got to pay salaries, and that's a big part of it. You got to pay expenses, you got to pay travel and accommodation, housing, facilities, all these other things, and you get paid back a bit of money through Riot by the partner program, and then you get paid by various sponsors. But it's not like the sponsors, certainly in today's market, have like so much money to be parting ways with. So I think GE have other elements of their business which is enabling them to actually generate some better revenue than other esports organizations are able to achieve, which is probably a good decision, to be honest. And he says, okay, we're profitable on paper. Now, of course, they may be profitable by 1 cent or $1, right? They may have made $2 million cash revenue and spent 1.99 million, you know, but still, the point stands that they're doing better than many other organizations seemingly are. So commendable from Global Esports if, you know, hopefully they can uphold this and continue delivering success for the region over the upcoming years. Now, let's talk about this as well. Now, just quick clarification again, quotes, if you read quotes, it means aspas. It's just like the translation from Portuguese when whenever you go on the site. And I think you guys might remember a quote that Sadak made at the start of Rostermania when he said he thinks Aspas and Sassy want to team up again. I think that's what he said, and we talked about it at the time, and Sadak was like, oh, well, I'm just guessing, like, I don't know anything. And but obviously the read between the lines there was he does know those guys. He's probably heard discussions, and it turns out, according to rumours, that yeah, Sassy was actually in talks to play with Aspas before he decided to retire. Sassy basically said, it came up several times talking to Aspas. We talked a lot. It got to the point where I said, quote, Aspas, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. So they talked directly. They were kind of saying, oh, we might play again next year or something. And, you know, it's crazy to think really about that roster. Sassy, Pancada, Aspas, less Sadak. Like, what a team that is on paper, and certainly was on paper. And you know, maybe in hindsight you'd think a team like that should achieve more than they did. But there was talks that maybe Aspas and Sassy would team up again for the upcoming season, but of course it never actually turned out to happen. But yeah, it would have been a wild timeline had that been the case, of course, with those boys back together again. Sassy maybe had his options to go back to Brazil if he wanted. Of course, Aspas we know is going to MIBR. At least we believe. It's not been officially confirmed yet. I imagine that there's still some terms possibly to be agreed on that front, because obviously, you know, Aspas is having a buyout from Leviathan to go to MIBR. That's our belief. Then they have to find a team that Aspas is going to be happy with. Then they have to find a compensation package that Aspas is going to be happy with. And of course, if you're paying for a substantial buyout from Lev, which only a few organizations could afford. I mean, obviously Bleed Esports said they could afford it. They couldn't, spoiler alert. Some other organizations maybe could, but it never happened. And even other organizations in the Americas, right? I mean, we talked about it when Aspas was available. Do you bring him to SEN? You know, you're not going to get rid of Zeka, but it's like, you know, the possibility was there. Aspas is the, you know, arguably best in the world, but certainly in the conversation, maybe the face of VALORANT now, you could argue, in many respects, apart from maybe, you know, Kang, Chinese region, stuff like this, and of course now the world champion. But Aspas also world champion from a couple of years ago, and arguably the face of the esports on some level. So it's like, if your SEN and TENS retires, which he did, then you might think about bringing in, you know, Aspas to the team. And obviously, when we, you know, there were rumours about things happening. The main rumour was Sassy was going to go, obviously. But if Sassy was to stay, then Aspas could have come in. Would have been very interesting. But of course, SEN decided not to do that. I think for very good reason, to be fair. I think what SEN have decided to do, and I like their roster a lot, I think they've made some commendable decisions. And, you know, paying all this money for Aspas probably wouldn't have been wise, but it's just like, when you get that finalization in there from MIBR, then we're going to find out what the roster's going to be, and some of the other questions in addition to that. Lev, this was a Rickroll, by the way. Like, I almost might commit these numbers or letters to memory just so I know that I'm getting Rickroll before I click on it again. But, yeah, Leviathan say La Bomba del Mercado, and it's official that TENS, as you guys can tell from the background who is joining Lev, which obviously isn't true, but it's going to be Demon 1 basically. So it's more than likely only a matter of time until that gets officially confirmed. But just a couple more things here, certainly on this Marved stuff that we talked about at the start of the video. So yeah, Reduxx comes out and says, who want me? Obviously we know that he's going to be on Sentinels, he's part of Sentinels, and Zeltis is the one that's going to be counting his blessings to make sure that he's going to keep his spot for the new season. Pretty sure Reduxx turns 18 in April or something, so that's when the possibility is there for him to officially come into the VCT. But yeah, we know that this guy is a very talented player. Did well for SEN when he subbed in for them a couple of weeks ago, and the potential is still there for his future to be very impressive indeed. Now, Marved was playing with this guy and ranked and stuff like this, and he says, hey, like, I'm the activator, right? I activate you, I allow you to play someone on the server, and Reduxx is like, look, I'm putting you back on the map. People are watching the streams because of me, and I'm getting your name back in the conversation, right? And Marv's like, hey, you know, little bro, pipe down. Like, you know, at the end of the day, Marved achieved an awful lot, won international events in the VALORANT world, but obviously the last, you know, couple of years haven't been great. He was on Sentinels, he was IGLing briefly, and actually did a pretty commendable job, and I thought definitely did enough on those SEN days to get a deserved spot on NRG. But of course the NRG situation was not ideal at all. He basically gets kicked from the team due to work ethic was obviously mentioned, right? There was lots of talk about how they weren't executing, they weren't trying that hard, they weren't turning up on time, they were sleeping in late. Obviously, Marved had that stream with, was it FNS or whatever it was, when he was up late and they had a match the next day, and it just wasn't really a great look. And obviously, Chet after the season said that the boys weren't really trying, and that's what we saw here. So Marv drops his own clip, and look, the talent is absolutely there for this guy, everyone knows it, but the question is whether he can, put everything together again to get back to being a contender for, joining one of these top tier franchises. But look, Marv's shots are crisp, and we know that he's excellent on the roles that he plays. And Valen says, yeah, so now we're trying, are we, right? So, yeah, Marv and Valen get into it with a bit of a back and forth, but I thought it was just a little bit interesting just to note what is happening and what may continue to happen here with this Marv situation, whether he can actually, turn the situation around, because Reduxx is Sentinel substitute, but he's also likely going to be playing in Tier 2 for the upcoming season as well. So, if that's, and then he might get the Sentinel spot halfway through the year, who knows? So he's, making moves. Marved is making moves the other way. But maybe that's fine. You're making good money streaming. Sure, good content, absolutely. But if you want to play again, which Marved seems to want to, then, there's another level that might need to be reached. But very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.